His grace I am redeemed, by His blood I am made clean, and I now can know Him face to face. By His power I've been raised, hidden now in Christ. By faith I will praise the glory of His grace. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's KeithJames, otherwise known as James, and I'm here with St. James, UCC, on the corner of Walnut and 15th in Allentown. And I'm here every day at 2:30, broadcasting a little music for the church community because we are not meeting yet because of the COVID-19 situation. And so a few modest hymns every day at 2:30, and also at 10:30, Pastor Josh gives his message daily. At 10:30, his Facebook page, where he streams from, is Knappenberger JD. Knappenberger is with a K-N, a double P, and Burger with an E. Okay, so, okay. I won't even say what I was thinking. Just that we have to be careful that, that everything looks good in the environment when we're bringing people into our house, but it looks fine. So today I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like 6 hymns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 hymns that are out of probably my favorite hymnal. I have to say, the 1940 Episcopal hymnal. And the hymns I'm going to play today are hymns that I loved singing as a child in the men and boys choir in a young high school. I was there from 4th grade through high school singing in the men and boys choir. So I started out as a treble, boy treble, and I left as an alto, falsetto alto. So, but I was not reared in the Episcopal Church. So when I went to Christ Church, New Brunswick, at the age of 10, I suppose, 4th grade, it was completely a new environment for me. Very formative it was, and very quickly I took to it. It was a high liturgical setting, communion or Eucharist every other Sunday. So we had morning prayer and then Eucharist alternating. But the point here is that the music, the traditions, the people, it was all brand new to me. My family didn't go to that church. Suddenly I was by myself going to this very fancy and beautiful church and singing at 3 rehearsals a week and 1 service a week. So there were hymns that impacted me when I was there, but hymns I never heard again since leaving, because I did not worship in an Episcopalian church again after that, except for about a year I did actually worship in an Episcopal church that was attached to the Anglican Church, which is a more conservative branch of the American Episcopal Church, and they did not use the 1940 hymnal. And I think they used more contemporary praise music that they downloaded from online and all different sources, praise choruses that were very popular in the 80s or the 90s. So I never worshiped again with the 1940 hymnal after leaving it in 1975. And so sometimes when I'm playing through, I go, oh, I love that hymn, and I never heard it again, except that I sang it once or twice a year at Christ Church as a youngster and a youth, and it impacted me, but there was not a lot of context to hang on to it. So these hymns are hymns that I loved, but never have really heard again, and these are real memories for me. So, and in the Episcopal, in the Anglican tradition, they really do think of their hymns often in terms of the hymn melody, the name of the hymn melody. And I think it's because a lot of the words in the Anglican hymnal are, they're very poetic, and the language is a little elevated, and the first line does not always translate well into the name of a hymn. Where I have to say that it seems most American hymns, beautiful as they are, very different, and the first line of words so frequently translates right into a great name for the hymn, but not so in a lot of these hymns. You'd have to read the whole verse to absorb the meaning of the lyrics, and the first line is not necessarily a good name for the hymn, and sometimes it would require going through the whole first sentence to get any kind of full meaning for a hymn title. Nonetheless, I tried to write down the first words of the hymn to name these instead of using the hymn tunes. And the first hymn is Immortal Love. And so, Immortal Love, a hymn I loved as a child and never sang again since. I could play that 10 times. I love that melody. It's just adorable. The words are immortal love, forever full, forever flowing free, forever shared, forever whole, a never ebbing sea. So immortal love, they're describing love. Our outward limbs confess the name, all other names above. Love only knoweth whence it came, and comprehendeth love. Love only knoweth whence it came, and comprehendeth love. Meaning love is love, and it only knows itself as love, and it doesn't know anything else. Love is all imbuing. We may not climb the heavenly steeps to bring the Lord Christ down. In vain we search the lowest deeps. For him no depths can drown. But warm, sweet, tender, even yet, a present help is he, and faith has still its Olivet, and love its Galilee. The healing of his seamless dress is by our beds of pain. We touch him in life's throng and press, and we are whole again. Through him the first fond prayers are said, our lips of childhood frame. The last low whispers of our dead are burdened with his name. That sounds a little deep. I didn't comprehend that. When one reads, there's two ways to read. Reading with comprehension or just reading with good enunciation. I'm trying to do both. O Lord and Master of us all, whate'er our name or sign, We own thy sway, we hear thy call, we test our lives by thine. Immortal love. Okay, lovely. Nice hymn. I do like that. So our next one is Remember All the People. Now that's one that just doesn't have a good first few words to name it. And the name of the tune is Far Off Lands. Another hymn that I sang growing up and never sang again. Never, it was left into my childhood. And when I go through this hymnal, I remember it so fondly. So pretty. I think so. And I'm curious if any of you know these hymns. Oh, good. Michelle knows one of these hymns. It looks like the last one I played. Nonetheless, I'm glad to hear that Michelle came on late. I'm playing hymns that I only know from my childhood, Michelle, that I never sang since I was in the Episcopal Church as a child. I just never sang them again. And they're hymns of my memory. Okay. Awake Thou Spirit, 255. Okay, Awake Thy Spirit. Now this hymn sounds very much to me like the one about on the banks of Jordan, the Christmas Advent hymn. And if I keep going, I'm going to confuse it with this hymn. On the Banks of Jordan is a very short hymn. And this one sounds so similar, except it's extended and it's longer. And there are so many hymns that sound like hybrids of other hymns. Nonetheless, And as a child, it kind of bothered me because I would get these hymns confused. This one on the banks of Jordan, because we sang both of them. The other one, the Banks of Jordan one, is a Christmas Advent hymn. This is a missions hymn. We sang this at least once a year at Christ Church. Let's see if I can play it. This one takes a lot of concentration, and I didn't treat myself to that concentration. I got nervous. So I'm going to play it slowly and see if I can do it again. That's too bad. A little sloppy, but that's a lovely hymn. Okay, now we have "O Jesus Crucified for Man," 333. Let's see what that one is. Again, hymns that I only sang as a child and never got to sing again in any other setting. This is lovely. have Rejoice the Lord is King, 350. As a child, when I was interviewed to sing in the men and boys choir, the director was this old man, a very talented organist, very old man back in the 60s. He was smoking his Lark cigarettes, and he moved very slowly and spoke with a very deep voice. He had no singing voice. He was a cigarette smoker. And he asked me as a fourth grader child, why do you want to be in this choir? He was very, I mean, he was very nice, but very, just a little frightening to a child. And I said, well, because at school, they make me sing high and it hurts my voice. And what I meant by that was that when I would sing at school in choir in the music class in elementary school, I would be straining at the top of my chest voice to sing. Why up here and I'd be singing and it'll hurt my voice, and I didn't like that. And I'm sure he thought that was interesting because I had no idea that in 10 minutes I would be sitting down into the pews in the rehearsal room and singing completely in my falsetto voice, which I never accessed or never intentionally accessed. So as soon as we started singing, it's like, oh, we're singing in our girl voice, we're singing in our high voice. This is easy, and it was. It doesn't strain the voice at all. It's comfortable, and it was as free as a breeze, and it was high, but it was above the chest voice. And that's what I meant as a child when I said it hurt my voice. They made me sing too high at school. And what they actually were doing at school was they weren't teaching the children to sing in their head voice. As I said, I called it my girl voice, and that was part of the problem because they weren't teaching the boys to sing in their falsetto where they should be singing. So the boys are like fumbling and, oh, I can't sing and it hurts. Well, they're not being told to flip it up into their high voice, the voice they scream with, the voice they pretend to sound like a girl when they're being silly. It's their falsetto, and a child in America is taught a boy was that was weird. So as soon as we started singing in the falsetto, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a breeze. It was so comfortable. And I mean, instantly I'm singing in this men and boys choir, I'm singing Latin, I'm singing fine music, and it was all because we had such a talented director, and this old George Huddleston, and because I was singing in my head voice where I should have been singing. So it was a very formative experience, to say the least, singing in that choir growing up. So let's see, next we have Creator Spirit. Okay, this is a beautiful hymn. A little hard to play. I would just relax and play it like it's for me. So, this is a lovely hymn. This is our last one. through it. That was lovely. Okay. So those are some hymns from my childhood that I never sang again outside of the setting of that particular time and place that I remember. So today was a longer program, well, 28 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed the music. And I'll close. I opened up with the song I sing, so I won't do that closing. That song is By His Grace. But I'll close with the Servant Song. Thank you and have a lovely day. Okay, thank you and have a great day. God bless you and thank you. Hey, Paula Jane.